Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
So, hello dear participants, welcome back to NPTEL online course on logistics and supply chain management. So, as we started discussing on the basic fundamentals of supply chain management, and we also discussed about how this supply chain management is different from the logistics management and where the logistics functions are required and very much part of your supply chain management. So, today we will go through again with the supply chain management, and because it will divide this overall industry into two parameters. One is as providing the product, physical products, and another one is as based on providing the services. So, we will see what are the implications, how it will change the scenario when we are talking about the overall supply chain management as far as your product industry is concerned or your services industry is concerned. So, we will start discussion today on supply chain operations, what are the different concepts under that, and then we will see how this supply chain management is different for product industry and for services industry, and what are those common points which are relevant for both these kind of industries, right. And we will take some examples also from each of the industry. I will show you one small video where you can see how this services industry is different from the manufacturing industry. And when towards the end of this session, I have included one case study of Amazon, where they are providing you the product as well as the services, right. So, we will see that case study. So, starting with, just I will introduce you what are the supply chain operations. So, if you will go through different definitions, many are saying that researchers, academicians, experts, they are saying as supply chain is part of your operation management, and many are saying that operation management is part of supply chain management. But my personal view is that under your complete supply chain, there are many sub-functional where your operation management is working, right. So, with that context, maybe the very first slide will make more sense in that way. If I am talking about, let us say, your generating the raw material, that is one functional area, how you are generating the raw material. Then if I am talking about transportation operation is one other area under complete supply chain management. Then I am talking about converting the raw material into finished one, again operational area we are looking into. Distribution, again distribution operation, how we are managing the distribution, how we are managing the warehousing operations, right, where we are keeping the stock, we are rotating the stock, we are managing the inventory on the shelves, and then retail operations, right. So, how we are providing that. So, if we will go through all these sub-functional areas under complete supply chain, you can see that this makes more sense that operation management is part of your supply chain management. But whatever it is, right, because many different definitions are there, but we will talk about what are the components, right. So, if we will talk about supply chain operation, first is your supplier sourcing. Now, sourcing is, for the time being, sourcing is different from the purchasing. When we are saying that sourcing, that means we are setting up the supply chain. We are looking the stakeholders, we are looking for those long term stakeholders which will be part of our supply chain. Once your long term that relationship is established, then your regular supply of the raw material can be ensured through your repetitive purchase orders, right. So, that is purchasing. Talk about supplier purchaser collaboration, it is again very important, because now this is another functional area under your supply chain management. If we will talk about, these are the raw material suppliers, very basic definition we have been considering from the very first lecture. So, this is how we draw our supply chain, and through your this we are reaching to your end customers, and obviously in between we have the long distribution chain, right. So, if we are talking about supplier purchaser collaboration, here it is very important, because if as long as you are running the same product or model, you need same type of components, you have been purchasing from the same supplier, but then you are renovating your product with the market fluctuations, considering all the dynamism in the market, and then you are coming up with new design. So, then again that supplier, you have to collaborate that, take that supplier in confidence that now you need to generate the new type of raw material, maybe the design are changed, maybe the parameters are changed, maybe your raw material component which you were using, maybe you need to change the raw material as well. Earlier you were using copper, now you aluminum or some other metal, if you are using in that, if you are in that type of industry, right. Supplier information management, this is important as far as your order management is concerned, because based on this, how many different suppliers you have, let us say S1, S2, S3, how many orders particular supplier is supplying, what is the, so that information you need to always you need to process. First information is required, what is the pricing of that supplier. Second, what is the quality of that supplier. Third, maybe what is the durability of the material he is providing, right. Fourth, maybe what is the how frequently he is making the deliveries, how responsive he is, if you are changing something, how quickly he is changing at his end, because your any change in the product will only be ensured when your supplier will provide you the new material, okay. So, then again purchase order management, this is another functional area where we are doing the operations, we are recording the order first, we are processing the order in terms of locating where the product is, inventory management, all those things will come. Then we will pack the order and we will ship the order, and then in the final distribution of that order in terms of last mile delivery will happen. So, this is again operational area we can talk about. Inventory management, again functional area of supply chain management, but within that inventory operations are there. How you are keeping the inventory of your raw material, how you are keeping the inventory of your semi-finished goods, how you are keeping the inventory of finished goods. Not only that, how you are keeping the inventory of your rejected material. Then rejected may be your during process you rejected, during 0 hour rejection we discussed about that, right. Or sometimes if the rejection is coming from the market as market complaint in terms of warranty period, right. So, that how you are managing the inventory, how again you are reselling the product or refurbishing the product or recycling the product, right. So, those all operations will come under inventory management. Then warehouse and transportation management. Transportation management is another functional area in between where you are storing the product as temporary location, or you are doing cross docking, we discussed about that, different warehouse operations, right. So, those will be part of your warehouse operations and transportation operation. Supply chain planning, again we discussed at 3 levels in the very first introductory lecture of supply chain management. So, supply chain planning we can divide again as per the level of the management, let us say top level management or middle level management or lower level management. So, we have seen that top level management is directly interested in taking those strategic decisions where we will set up the facilities in terms of your maybe production facilities, maybe warehousing facilities, right. What type of product or services you are going to offer in the market. These are long term decisions. Medium term decisions means where the middle level management is involved, right. Then you are the time horizon in that way may be up to 1 year or 2 years. So, how you will keep your inventory, how you will go for subcontracting, these are the decisions which we discussed under your medium term decision making process. And then lower level, how we are dealing the day routine purchase orders, how we are recording the orders, how we are supplying the orders, how we are managing those orders coming either in few quantity or number of quantity. And then shipping is another operation where we have If you have outsourced, so many shipping partners are there, shipping agents are there, they are taking from your one distribution hub to maybe other distribution hub near to the customer, and then the last mile delivery is also being done through those shipping partners. So this is all about your supply chain operations, where we have seen different operational area under the same supply chain. So operation management in supply chain, we can see while producing and distributing goods and services. So whatever activities you are doing in between, either you are going for sourcing, purchasing, and then raw material converting the finished one, inventories you are managing, warehousing operation, all those activities, final distribution, and then in a effective and efficient way you are reaching with your product or services to the end customer. So these all are operational areas. So if we'll talk about the main function of operation management, obviously planning is the first one. Planning of how you will, ensure the smooth flow of resources. That will only happen when you will channelize your inventory in that way. Okay. Scheduling. So when you will produce, how much you will produce, right? So that I talked about the operation management concept, where we are discussing about what type of product or services you are going to produce, where you are going to produce, in-house or outsource, then how much you are going to produce, when you are going to produce, in what order you are going to produce. Order means if you are having different products, right, under one category. Let's say Maruti Suzuki is coming with Grand Vitara. So Grand Vitara now, so many different models are there. So in petrol, maybe the base version is there, the middle version is there, then top version is there, right? Then maybe same are for the diesel variants also, same are for the maybe the hybrid version also, same for CNG. So then in different colors, right, and different engine capacities are also sometimes coming, right? So that means this is the total overall product basket. So then you need to schedule when you are going to produce, how much of that particular order, middle level petrol variant, how many units you need to produce today, depending upon again the information you are getting from your retail chain, then you will process your inventory. Control, again monitoring the progress and making the changes. So for any control process, first you need to set up the standards, right? For setting up the standards, you need to identify the key performance indicators, right? When you will set up the key KPIs, then you will see what is the benchmark in that industry, right? We discussed about these KPIs, and then you can say that this is the industry standard. Maybe you are right now you are here, so this much gap you need to cover. So let's say plan phase wise. In the first phase we will cover this much, in the second phase we will try this much, third phase will go for this much, right? So this is how you will ensure the controlling and improvement, so that you can be more efficient and effective as per your the competition is concerned in the industry. The significance of supply chain in operation management. Now let us look this same concept in different way, where the other team is saying that where the supply chain is part of operation management. Now see, if I am saying that at manufacturing facility we are converting the raw material into finished one, right? So this is your manufacturing facility, we are getting the raw material and we are getting the finished goods out of this, right? So here what we are doing some assembly process, we are treating that those raw material components, we are fixing them, assembly is being done, so then we are ensuring the final good. So this will only happen when you can ensure the smooth supply of the raw material through your supply chain. This is the role of supply chain for any operation management. Even if you are talking about your suppliers, maybe those suppliers are getting supplies from other suppliers, right? So within their manufacturing facility, how they are converting their supplies into the finished one, which are going to mean their finished product is going to this manufacturer as a raw material, right? So when we are talking about supply chain in operation management, obviously we need to tap all these stakeholders, suppliers, manufacturers, distributors and retailer, so that that smooth chain can be ensured. Smooth chain means we need to ensure the smooth flow of the resources, right? And then you need to focus as supply chain management, which if we'll consider it, right now we are considering it as subset of operation management, right? So then we'll say how efficiently we can ensure the either the material flow through that supply chain, or the information flow forward or reverse, or the finance flow forward or reverse, right? So if we'll see impact on operations, if our supply chains are efficient, so then we can improve efficient in terms of delivering the quality of the product they are taking from one end and then distributing to the other end. In that process, our supply chain should not deteriorate the quality of the product. This is one way you can do that. Another way, how they can minimize the waste. During that complete supply chain, they are not maintaining higher inventory just to be on the safe level, so that stock out should not be there, but then they are keeping so much excess inventory, then also then in that way they are adding extra cost. How you can be cost efficient in that way? How quickly you can respond to your demand from the customer? If customer is looking for some other preferences, other specification, how quickly your supply chain is recording that information and is being supplied to your R&D team, where R&D team will work on that in that operation management, under operation management, and will come up with a new prototype, right? And then we will source the supplies as per the new prototype, right, after testing and everything. So this is how we can see the role of supply chain management in your operation management. So let us now talk about the product versus services supply chain. If we will talk about the basic differences between the product and your services, so product is tangible, services are intangible. So that means that concept of when you are physically touching the product, feeling the product, and then you are taking, that concept is not there as far as you are talking about the services industry, right? But there are industries who are making their presence, right? They want, as customer, they want us to feel their presence as tangible. So they are trying to give some tangible experience through that your services only. If you are talking about you are going to any hotel, right? You are staying there, let's say. So when you are staying there, in terms of you are getting the services only, but in terms of tangible experience, what extra you are getting, right? So those extra experience, like maybe how they have decorated the room, maybe how they are providing the other amenities, right? Your swimming pool, spa, or gym facilities. So those kind of experiences they are just adding to. Perishability. So perishability means product today produced, you can consume that product later on, but services are perishable in nature. If you are producing, means that cannot happen that you are producing right now and you will deliver later on. That concept is heterogeneity. In services industry, it is completely heterogeneous, right? Product is once standardized, we are always targeting to reach at standardization position so that we can standardize the whole production process and the overall cost can be minimized. But in case of services, this is not possible. So if any barber shop you are visiting, from maybe morning to evening 500 customers are visiting, the haircut for all 500 will be in some or other way will be different, right? Because there is continuous involvement of the customer. Customer participation is very, very important, and the generation of the services, the production of the services will only happen when customer arrives at your location, right? Before that nothing can happen. But in product industry, there is no as such role when you are producing the product. Customer is not visiting your manufacturing facility. Inseparability. So production and final delivery cannot be separated in case of your services industry, but product industry, production is happening somewhere in, let's say, in Delhi, and the product is being consumed here in Calcutta, right? So that way it can be separated. So these are some of the basic points when we'll talk about product and services industry, and will be very, very important as far as the implications of these are concerned. So just before going further, I'll show you one video, quick video, where you can see how these production, selling products and supplying products through the same supply chain and supplying services through the same supply chain, how it can be different and what are the different challenges. So here I have included some video links. You guys can just quickly go through these videos. Okay, so now let's after just you had a look on this video and you can see and you can somewhere relate now these concepts of what I was talking about related to product supply chain and services supply chain, and how it is making a big difference when we are handling all those operations within that supply chain. So quickly going through manufacturing supply chain, already we have discussed a lot on distributing your raw materials, processing your raw material, in transit you are storing in the warehouses, storage centers, and distributing the final product through your end mile delivery, right, to the end customer. So then it is ensured through production, assembly, packaging, and distribution. These are some of the activities when we are talking about manufacturing supply chain, product supply chain. And when we are saying this, because we are highly standardized in providing the product, as long as you are buying a particular product, let's say this marker pen, so then this is standardized, right? So when it is standardized, you are not doing anything, means variability in the production process is not supposed to be, right? So you are supposed to be more efficient, effective in terms of quality, minimum rejection you should produce, and then the profit margins can be ensured. So this you can see, main supplier is one stakeholder going to manufacturer, and then we are doing all the quality checks. If it is not okay, we are segregating the material. Whatever is okay, we are finally shipping the material to the retailer. If all the items are okay, directly shipped to the retailer. If something is coming back in terms of rejection, then it is going back to the manufacturer, or for maybe they will again remanufacture. So different models we have discussed about, but the basic thing here is you have suppliers, manufacturers, retailers, and customer is finally taking the product from your retail outlet, right? So this is one way of looking into your manufacturing oriented supply chain model. Let's talk about the services supply chain, where there is no tangibility of things, right, and we are just delivering the experience to the customers in terms of services, right? So talking about different services industry, healthcare services industry, or lawyer giving the the legal advice to you is another service industry. You are going to property dealer, they are giving you all those kind of services, giving you maps, giving you the location of the property, documentation, all those things, again kind of services industry. Transportation, if you are flying through air from one end to other end, you are not getting any physical product, right? So yeah, that is there, that this services industry is also supported by your product industry, because as such that pure services industry can exist. Somewhere while delivering the services we are using product. If taking the example, if you are flying from Calcutta to Delhi, on the way maybe you are consuming something in terms of short meal or beverages or anything you are taking, right? So that also is adding to your experience of getting the services. So if maybe you enjoyed that meal, so whether while you were rating your the service partner, you will keep that in mind which product you consumed, right? And then you are evaluating the player for their services, right? But actually you is consumed the product, right? But if you are going to restaurant, then again you are getting the services, you are consuming the services as well as the product in terms of meal, right? So these are some of the things. But yes, if you are taking only legal advice, right? So then if you are going visiting to lawyer, then you are taking only legal advice. Can be, we can keep on the extreme end of your where we can say the pure services industry. But then again they are also using many products in terms of providing you, they are using all the law books, they are using all the law records, and then preparing those documents, they are handling over those documents to you, or those things are there, right? So the basic point here is, whenever we are talking about the services supply chain, there has to be one platform where we are integrating customers and the service provider at one stage. Both are part of your that supply chain, right? So you can see this service supply chain where we as suppliers, you are getting demand from the customer, right? And then information is being shared, because this is very kind of customized industry. So every order is different, right? So accordingly you are preparing your let's talk about the barber shop. So we visited barber shop, let's say for haircut, right? So during that haircut, let's say the additional services you are using, or that can be one information for the supplier. Let's say you are using one particular shampoo. So then that product needs to be insured. You are using, during head massage, you are using some oil. That product you need to insure. You are using head massager. That machine you need to insure through your product supply chain. So that is what I am saying, that services industry are also supported by your product industry. But as a customer, when you are visiting that location barber shop, are you carrying any product physically with you? No, you are not carrying anything. What you are carrying with you is only the experience, right? How long you spend with that service station, right? So that experience, even if you were waiting during the, there was long queue and you were waiting in that showroom or that shop, right? So during that time, what was your experience? Whether they were providing you any extra information or any extra amenities you enjoyed during that stay, right? Where you were waiting for getting the services, you were waiting in the queue. So that complete supply chain, right? So this information is directly coming from the customer, right? And then customer is actually part of this production process, and production will start only once the customer is reaching at your door, so at your shop. So then only you will start delivering the services, okay? So in that way, every service will be unique, right? So if you will talk about service supply chain, so we need to come up with some strategy where we need to balance competitive service requirement with cost and investment. Whatever value proposition we have, right, core competencies we have in terms of that, so how we can provide that in more effective and efficient way. So while talking about services supply chain or any product supply chain, we have 5 different concepts. First is plan, source, make, deliver and return. If you talk about a very basic model of supply chain operation reference model given by Supply Chain Management Council, right? So this is core model that says there are 5 different stages, right? First you need to plan. So in that case, whether you are talking about services industry or product industry, you need to plan for the product, for the supplies, for the distribution, for the storage, for the inventory, for the production. Second is source. Now you need to find out your sourcing partners, the raw material suppliers, the shipping partners, the co-manufacturers, right? The warehousing partner, the distribution partners. So that is source. Third is make. Then you will come up with your prototype that this is your model, how you can develop that product. So then make, during production you will ensure, and finally you will deliver the product and services to the customer, and return, if anything is rejected, will come back to you, right? That is the very simple model. But in case of services industry, this make, return and make and deliver are not 2 different stages, right? You are making while you are delivering. So because customer is already there in your shop taking the head massage or haircut, so during that time only you are making the services and you are delivering, right? So before that you cannot produce the services. So that means you cannot inventorize the services. Inventory management is not there. But in this case, you are talking about long queues in front of your shop, right? So that you need to manage, how you can do under queue management concept. There is separate chapter how we are managing the long queues, right? We can open the temporary service channels so that the traffic can be diverted in that way. So but when we are talking about your product industry, this make, return, deliver, all 5 stages are possible, and that way we are delivering the product, right? So this will help you for decision making, and we are getting the information which are developing. Again, we are coming up with the policy, and in the end we will be evaluated based on this model, how efficiently and effectively we are delivering the product and services. That performance will be evaluated. Quickly talk about the services supply chain, healthcare, medical services. You are taking the doctor advice, you are doctors are helping you to diagnose your problem, they are suggesting some treatments. Again, when medicines they are prescribing some medicines, again that is pharmaceutical industry, product industry. So this is again hybrid kind of industry. If you are talking about hospitality and tourism, so then hotels, restaurant, travel agent, all they are providing you the services, right? You can travel through their services, they are providing you the air tickets and all those things, right? But in that journey, you are consuming the products as well. Financial services, you are coming to me for insurance, then again they are providing the insurance services. Investment plans they are coming with, or normal your saving schemes they are coming with and providing you those kind of services. Educational and training, so then this is again can be considered as one kind of pure services industry, but again then I am using so many products. Camera is there, screen is there, this pen is there, mic is there, I am using all those products, lighting equipments are there. So all those product I am using to deliver this lecture, right? But in the end you are not carrying any of these product, right? So you are just carrying the experience, how beautifully the backend team of NPTEL is working to record that lecture, to erasing all the errors done by me, and then the beautifully they are compiling in the end the complete video, right? So this experience you will carry in the end, and then you will evaluate. Let's talk about, you will evaluate for my performance, how I have delivered this lecture to you, right? Whether it was informative for you, the content was good, all those things were there, but you are never going to evaluate for the backend team who are doing this whole operation, they have done this arrangement, right? So means everything, if that recording is done perfectly, the material is communicated to you perfectly, right? So that is another one best example you can relate with this. Then professional services already talked about. If you are visiting lawyer, doctor, or property consultant, you are taking those services. Information technology, again in terms of software you are using. Earlier we were purchasing simple antivirus, so we were purchasing the CDs and then we were installing. Now what you are doing, you go through online and then you buy the key and just download the software, you just put your key, there is no hardware is involved, right? So that means again services industry. Transportation services, again we are carrying physical products, but those shipping agents are not doing anything value adding activity, they are just carrying the product from one end to other end, so that means they are providing the services. Entertainment, you are watching movie, you are not taking any product out of that, but yes, you are taking the experience when you are coming out of that theater or your movie hall, right? Retail, you just imagine, it's not product industry but providing products. Retail is organizing all the products, ensuring that there is enough inventory on the shelf. So that means retail services industry, they are providing those services, but product is being sold by, if you are visiting Big Bazaar, now Big Bazaar is coming with their own products with the name of I think Kore or something like that, right? But if you are talking about Vishal Mega Mart and all those, they are not manufacturing the products, right? So now because they started backward integration, but earlier they were not manufacturing, they were selling, this is one kind of multi-brand store, they are selling all the branded products, right? And then property management, another kind of industry where you can see, you can relate the product and services. So quickly going through manufacturing versus product supply chain. If we will talk about supply chain input, so supplier material and forecast information, right? So here customer input will be your customer, whatever customer information is providing, then you will start processing that customer wants shampoo before going for haircut and this brand shampoo they want, right? So then only you can source the shampoo, although you are not purchasing at that moment, but that inventory you are keeping with you. Value add is process, the physical production, right? When you are converting the raw material into the finished one, when you are adding features to their product, that is value adding process. In case of services, value adding, when actually you are receiving the services, that is value adding time. But yes, during that queue, how we can improve your experience so that you should not feel bored there. So they are providing you magazines, they are coming up with so many screens so that you can watch movies or all those things, just to keep you engaged. Very quick example or beautiful example, you might have seen in multi-story building, when you are going from from first floor to the last floor. So in those elevators, they have installed some mirrors, so that it will keep you engaging, that you are looking how you are you are just looking into that mirror and just dressing yourself in that way or preparing yourself when you will be out of that that elevator. So that lift, anyhow, obviously you got the service, but during that time the waiting period, you forgot the waiting period because you were engaged in, setting your shirt, t-shirt or whatever, right? So that is one kind of experience, how they are improving this thing, very small step, but yes, still engaging to the customer. Then demand uncertainty. In case of this, we talk about inventory management, because in product we can produce and keep in the inventory for later sales, right? But in case of this, we cannot produce anything before customer reaches. So then only when customer is there, then only it starts. So that maybe for first 2 hours there is no customer, you are sitting idle with your workstation, but then next 5 minutes 5 customers are coming, at the same point. So then they will be in queue. So how you can manage those queue? And in talk about supply chain output, this is very standardized, but this is heterogeneous because customer is part of your services. That's why it is heterogeneous. Taking 2 different examples, manufacturing supply chain and after sales services supply chain, although this is not pure services industry, because when you are providing after sales services, I got the vehicle from Maruti Suzuki. After sales services, they are serving my vehicle, they are putting the engine oil, brake oil, they are checking all the bolt nut, replacing some of the parts, AC filter and all those things. So that means that is kind of products, right? But yes, let's take it as services industry, right? So nature of demand very predictable, but it is not predictable, right? So it can come anytime and maybe for some time there is no demand. Required response very standardized, because in product you can ensure that smooth flow by maintaining inventory. But in case of services, as the customer is reaching at your end, I want my bike or car should be serviced immediately I am reaching there, right? And then number of SKUs maybe in terms of product limited. Only one service station, retail outlet you will get when you are in that particular city, 1 or 2. But if you will see how many service centers, garage are there local, or maybe from the same brand you bought that vehicle, right? So in that way, if you will talk about product portfolio, it is largely homogeneous, it is always heterogeneous. We talked about in services industry, delivery network depends upon the nature of product and multiple network necessary, okay, that is obvious. With same supply chain, you cannot deliver all the product. Maruti Suzuki now coming with 2 different supply chain. One is under Nexa, another one is your traditional Maruti Suzuki supply chain, right? So because they want to change their brand image, so that's why their luxury products are coming under one chain, under Nexa, and the traditional are coming under the other chain. Inventory management we talked about, right? Here we are managing inventories of all those supporting products which are required to deliver the services. Reverse logistics, if it is forward supply chain we are not handling, but yes, in product industry reverse supply chain is important, but in services industry reverse supply chain is not important. But because we have taken here your after sale services, then we need to handle the repairs as well. If your bike is coming under warranty and something goes wrong with the engine, something goes wrong with the clutch plates, something goes wrong with some other part of the component, so it will be replaced, right? So performance metric, how quickly you are filling it, the inventory and product availability, your services availability, right? Inventory turns, usually the more inventory turns, that means we are more efficient, but in case of services we need to be limited in that way, only 1 to 4 a year can be considered, but then again that depends upon the services, right? So if we will talk about the factors, production system, it is push system, you will keep on producing and finally you will push in the market. But it will be pull system. Pull means first I will record the information from the customer, their demand, then I will sell the product. And suppliers responsiveness, here it is not critical, but here it is very critical. As soon as I am asking for some special shampoo, so then supplier need to provide the special shampoo, right? Customer relationship, here we are maintaining the relationship, but not that level. But here we need to maintain the relationship with the customer. You talk about airlines industry, how they are maintaining the relationship. You talk about the hotel industry, how they are maintaining the relationship. Labor intensive, it is low, it is high because you are directly interacting with the customer. Customer involvement is nowhere when you are producing the product, but it is very high when you are producing the services. We talked about the heterogeneity level. We talked about quality because it is easy Why? Because here we have standardized the product design, standard product design, standard process design, so we can talk about that. But here it is very hard, right, because the variance is huge and inventory exists here, here inventory does not exist, here we talk about the Q, right. So here are the some of the examples of manufacturing and services sector. You can see all this list of manufacturing, automotive, food processing, electronics, heavy engineering. We talk about these kind of services, hotel industry, third party logistics services you are taking, right, heat treatment, hardware retail you are doing, those are the things. We talked about the value adding activities, where we talked about how you are converting the raw material into finished one, packaging, right. So all those things are value adding activity. But in case of this, when we are distributing the services, when the part that customer is part of your service network, then we talk about the value adding activity. So quickly we will go through this very famous case of Amazon. Why I have included Amazon? Because here they are selling products as well as services. We will see how beautifully they have converted some of the product into services, so that they can reduce the transportation cost, right. You can just imagine, if I am producing something here, you are placing order from some other part of the world, so I need to ensure the supply of that product. What if that same I can provide you through online, right, the antivirus example I quoted, right. So now I need not to ship the CD from my manufacturing facility to your location, simply I will provide you the key, right. So through your email, which is again password protected, so that safety can be ensured, and then you are installing through our website, and then it can be done. So this is all the products you cannot digitalize, but there are some things we can digitalize. So quickly going through Amazon. So based in Washington, earlier what they were doing, they were filling orders from the distributors. So they were collecting the orders, and then they, as far as the order is coming, they were routing it through their distributor. But the problem was, it is time taking, obviously. So when they realized that this is time taking, they started their own warehouses. They set up their warehouses inside United States and other countries as well, where they started building up the inventories. Now the order is coming, as soon as it is coming, I can ship the book, right. This is one thing they did, and then they introduced some courier partners as well, right. But the next very amazing step was, they with Kindle now delivering physically those books, they converted those books into digital books. Now you can see, they are offering more than 4,60,000 digital books. That means that physical delivery is not required, and just to increase the customer experience, they are adding audio and video content in that. Same way I have also tried to add some videos, so that it will make more sense. You can relate the concepts with the actual practical things which are happening in the real world. So same way they try to engage the readers in that way and provided the content. So after that, beside books, they started selling music through online, right, and then product categories are always there. So you can see, by just digitalizing those things, books into digital form, now easily they can provide, right. And if you talk about the product industry, they acquire Jappos and online shoe retailer, right. So then you can see how many product directly they added. Then again they acquired diapers.com, so they diversified into different field. So the point here is how you can manage the product and services, so that just by doing this, converting the physical product books into digital records, how easily they can provide the information to the customer, to the readers, and in that way they are not in physical book, you cannot provide the audio, video visuals, right. So that you can provide in a better way. So you can just we can conclude here. We have seen so many differences between the basic differences when we are talking about inventory management in product industry, and we are talking about the queue management in services industry. But yes, both are parallelly working towards how we can go for inventory management, process optimization, and customer satisfaction with effectiveness and efficiency. That is the ultimate objective of any supply chain when you are talking about the product industry or services industry. So These are some of the references from where the content has been prepared. You can go further for better understanding. So that's all. Thank you very much.